The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com and at amazon.com.
Janet, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you're worried about your grandson.
I'm worried about my grandson.
Yeah, what's going on?
Okay, when his father went to Afghanistan, and when he returned home, his mother told his father that she wanted neither him nor the two children. And my son immediately remarried again after 6 months.
Wait a minute. This is your son that went to Afghanistan?
Pardon? I'm sorry?
Was it your son that went to Afghanistan?
Yes.
And his wife abandoned him when he came back.
Right.
And she abandoned their one child, a son.
Abandoned two children. The oldest one, Ethan, has had problems. He had very emotional problems. He was seen by a psychologist. She said he was making great strides until his father remarried again. The stepmother brought two children into the marriage, which bullied this little 5-year-old.
How many children?
Pardon?
She brought how many children into?
The stepmother brought two children into the marriage.
Two children.
Two children.
So tell me the ages. Your grandson, the oldest one, is how old?
The oldest stepson is 13, and then there's a 9-year-old.
Okay, 13 and a 9-year-old. But you also have biological grandchildren, right?
Yes.
And the oldest one there?
8. He's 8 now.
And the other one, the youngest?
Is 5.
Is 5. And so the problem is with the 8-year-old or the 5-year-old?
The 8-year-old.
The 8-year-old. The 8-year-old got all discombobulated, understandably totally messed up when Dad comes home and Mom walks out.
That's correct.
And then Dad quickly remarries. He doesn't miss a beat. He marries someone that's got 2 kids. So you've got a very complicated situation now. So for your oldest grandchild, he now has 2 more children to deal with, a new mother, in quotes, who he probably doesn't see as a mother. His real mother leaves him, and his father was off fighting a war, came back, and probably pays more attention to this new woman than him, or possibly. Exactly. So your son, what do you think his view, when I say son, your grandson, what do you think your grandson's view of people are?
Now, what did he do? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. What
do you think, like if you grow up in a really wonderful family that's very stable, secure, then even if Dad goes off to the war and comes back and gets some help for himself, because to readjust back to regular civilian life is difficult, but let's say he does a good job, that situation can be difficult. But in this situation, your grandson's conclusion about people could very well be, you can't trust them, they're unstable, you never know what's going to happen, and I feel invisible. He may not feel visible or valued. Is that accurate or no?
Hey, I got to interrupt this because we've got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, that's it. A very quick ad, and then Ellen will be back.
Romance. Ugh, I wish guys knew more about what we want from a relationship. Boy, I wish I knew more about what I want. Where's that ad I saw? Here it is. The Selfish Path to Romance. A serious romance guidebook. Download Chapter 1 for free at selfishromance.com and buy it at amazon.com. The Selfish Path to Romance. That is interesting.
He may not feel visible or valued. Is that accurate or no?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so tell me what makes it so important that you pick up the phone to call me? What's going on right now?
Because right now, when he was 6 years old, his father placed him in a place called Compass in Tennessee, and he was gone for 7 months because Ethan kept saying that he wanted to die. Now he got out. He was behind a year in school. I homeschooled him last year. He did beautifully because we love that child. And my son doesn't speak to us anymore. I went to the school the other day, and Ethan had been withdrawn and placed in a psychiatric unit in Georgia. And my son is so hostile to us. I went to the school. The school said he was doing beautifully there, that his father withdrew him for medical reasons. And
Okay,
No.
I just missed the last part. Let me sum up what I'm hearing so far, Janet, which is that you adore this boy, this poor boy. What's his name? Evan?
Ethan.
Ethan. That Ethan is dear to your heart enough that you invested a full year in homeschooling him.
Yes.
So you are interested in his mind. You're interested in him as a person.
Oh, I would give my life for him.
So you love him that much. He sounds like he's more dear to you than your son. Would that be true or no?
He is right now.
He is. Okay, what's bringing out the tears?
So I don't know what we need to do. I believe the stepmother has sabotaged this child, and I believe they can tell the psychiatrist anything. The school told me that she wanted to know when Ethan was enrolled in school this year, that she wanted to know everything that he had done wrong, not concentrating on anything that he had done right.
Yeah.
And when I was homeschooling, he was afraid to go home. He would say, "Please don't tell him I was bad today," or whatever he'd done.
Yeah.
And he kept telling me, "Why did you call them? And why did you call them and tell them I had done something bad?" And I kept saying, "Ethan, I would not do that. I'll tell you before I call your parents." Now this child is locked away.
He's locked away in Georgia in a psychiatric unit, and you have no access, or you do have access?
No, we have no access.
Can you write anything to him? Can you correspond by cards or by email or any other way?
I haven't tried that.
I would definitely try to keep contact for your own sake and for his sake. I would also try to write a note to your son. I would get therapy for yourself, first of all, because, oh my God, you need someone to talk to. This is a huge loss in your life. I know when I worked with abused children, I became so attached to some of them, and to watch them be sent back to their home where the abuse was still going on, whether it was psychological or physical, was torture for me. But if the judge makes that decision, I have no choice as a therapist. This is in your own family you're going through this. So I would try to reach out, make it a relationship between you and your grandson. Within the limits of the law, do whatever you can to maintain some contact, because I think you're his lifeline. I think it's real sad that you feel like you lost your son, too. And I think that if you could write a letter, an assertive letter, not aggressive, not angry, not you did this, you did that, attacking, because he'll just throw the letter away. But I think if you could reach out to him, that will help you too. You know, that at least you're doing what you can to reach out to him. I'd work with a therapist on that. You can go to my website, drkenner.com, and look up for a therapist. Try to get a cognitive therapist, the academyofct.org. There's a link there. So go to my website and try to get yourself some help. There's also a book, How to Talk So Kids Will Learn, that may help. And there are other books on my website that are very good. So thank you so very much for your call, Janet. And
Thank you so much.
Hope you can stay connected.
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance by Dr. Ellen Kenner.
A big romance destroyer is emotional repression, which is a psychological defense mechanism that prevents painful emotions from entering into conscious awareness through a standing order to your subconscious. Don't feel. This works in the narrow sense in that it's possible to not let yourself feel emotions. The result, however, is a deadening of your emotional vibrancy. The mechanism of repression is a Trojan horse. It seems to benefit you, but in the end it works against you. Why? Because the standing order, don't feel, cannot discriminate between positive and negative emotions. It can only block emotional responsiveness as such. Thus, a repressed person becomes an emotional cripple who cannot fully experience feelings and therefore does not show much emotion at all.
You can download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com, and you can buy the book at amazon.com.